Welcome to our quick and simple guide to story writing for Cambridge Key A2. In this part of the exam, you need to describe 3 pictures. When we describe the pictures, it's important to try and use story vocabulary for each picture. For example, in picture 1, the first part of our story, we can use one day at school, on Friday morning, it's a boring day. In the second picture, in the middle part of our story, we can use suddenly, after class, or later that day. And in the third picture, the last part of our story, we could use finally, in the end, or soon after. Another important thing to use in our story is connectors. For example, in the first part of the story, I want to use but. I'm going to try and use so in the middle part of my story, and in the last part, I want to use because. Okay, so now let's use the story vocabulary and the connectors with each part of my story. For example, in the first part, I'm going to use the story vocabulary, one Friday morning, and the connector but. In the middle part of my story, I'm going to use after class and the connector so. And in the last part of my story, I'm going to use finally and because. Let's begin with the first picture. One Friday morning, I'm doing an exam. But it's difficult. Wait, don't forget to use commas and full stops. After one Friday morning, I can use a comma. And before the connector but, another comma. And don't forget to use a full stop at the end of your sentence after describing one picture. After class, I find €20 on the floor. So, I'm happy. Again, don't forget the commas and full stops. After class, I can use a comma and before the connector so. And again, use a full stop at the end of your sentence. Now, let's write the last sentence for my story. Finally, I spend the money on a new t-shirt because I need one. Again, use a comma after the story vocabulary finally and a full stop at the end of the sentence. You do not need to use a comma before because. This is a simple version of the A2 story because I write in first person and in present tenses. This story will pass the A2 exam with a good mark. For a more difficult version of the story, you can write in the past tense and in third person. Let's look at an example. One Friday morning, Sarah was doing an exam, but it was difficult. After class, Sarah found €20 on the floor, so she was happy. Finally, Sarah spent the money on a t-shirt because she needed one. Notice how the words in red are in the past tense. If you use the past tense in your story, you can get a higher mark. Why? Because it shows that you can use more difficult grammar, the past simple. It's more advanced than just using the present tense. If you need help with your A2 story writing or other activities, take a look at these vocabulary videos that I've created on my YouTube channel. They're specifically designed to teach you useful vocabulary. I'm also making some short videos to make the vocabulary quick and easy to learn. That's it for today. Thanks for watching everybody and see you next time.